Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Sheila. In today's video we're going to be learning how to make this bralette that I posted on my Instagram page about a week ago, and it got very good feedback, and most of you guys were asking me how to make this particular top, so I decided to do a video tutorial about it. So for this project I used 100% acrylic robin yarn, but this video is in collaboration with Lion brand, and we shall be using 24/7 cotton in the color goldenrod. This is by Lion brand, so if you would want to achieve the same exact product as I am about to make with this brand, then go ahead and purchase this yarn. I highly recommend it because it's 100% cotton. It's very wearable and it's very good yarn. It's very good quality yarn. I've tried it with some other projects and I would really highly recommend it if you're looking for something that you would want to work with for your bralettes or summer tops or any crochet projects. So let's get started. You will need a 3.75mm crochet hook, a pair of scissors, a tapestry needle, a measuring tape, and yarn. So you're going to start off with a slip knot, and you're going to chain. You're going to make a chain. I'll be attaching how many centimeters that you'll need. I'm going to make a chain of 14. So I have my 14 chains, and this is for a size medium. And then you're going to chain one more, and this measures 7 centimeters. You're going to chain one more and go into the second chain from the hook and make a single crochet. And you're going to continue to make one single crochet in each chain all the way across until you get to the second last chain. So one single crochet in each and every chain. So this is my second last chain, and I've placed my single crochet there. This is my very last chain, and that last chain is going to get a total of 3 single crochets like that. And now we're going to go to the back of our chain, and we are going to place one single crochet in each and every chain. Try to locate the chains. You can see those gaps there. That's what I'm going into, and placing one single crochet in each and every chain at the back side. So we're almost coming to the end of our row, because this is row 1. And I'm placing my very last single crochet in the very last chain. And this is what I have. As I worked my back side, I kept weaving in this tail. So this is how the back side of my work looks like. So we're going to row 2. And for row 2, you're going to chain up 1, turn your work, and you're going to go into the very first stitch with one single crochet, and continue to place one single crochet until you get to the 3 single crochets that you placed at the top of your backup. So 1 single crochet all the way up until you get to the 3 single crochets that are at the top of your bra cup. So this is what you have, and right now we have 1, 2, and 3 stitches all in this one chain that we had, the very last chain. So I hope you can remember that. If you can't recognize it, I would really highly recommend a stitch marker, so that you always mark the exact middle of the 3 stitches at the top of your bra cup. So you go into the first one with 1 single crochet, and then into the second one you'll go in there with 3 single crochets, and then in the third one you go in there with 1 single crochet. So this is the point. When you do the 3 single crochets, if you're going with the approach of the stitch marker, then you would have to mark this middle stitch of the 3 single crochets. So the second single crochet, you place your stitch marker there, so that you always, like, whenever you come to this point where the stitch marker is, you always place 3 single crochets. So you're going to go all the way down to the end of row 2 with 1 single crochet in each and every single crochet below. Okay, so we are done with row 2, and this is what we have. And we are going to row 3, and for row 3 you're going to chain up 1. We are going to just be repeating the same exact thing that we did for row 2. So chain up 1, turn your work, and go into the very first stitch with 1 single crochet, and continue to single crochet once in each and every stitch after that, until you get to the exact middle stitch of the 3 single crochets. So chain 3, row 3 is the same exact thing as row 2. So we've gotten to the 3 single crochets. So the first one gets 1 single crochet. The next one, which is the middle stitch of the 3 single crochets, gets 3 single crochets like that, and then the last one gets 1 single crochet, and we continue to work 1 single crochet all the way down. So I usually don't use single crochet for my bra cups, and the moment I tried this and it really worked out beautifully, I decided to go ahead and I think I'll be making more tops with a single crochet because it has more coverage and the stitches don't open up easily. So I would highly recommend it as a stitch for your bra cups instead of a double crochet. I know double crochet works up well, but single crochet is more secure, especially for those people who find it uncomfortable to wear crochet garments. This stitch would really not make them fear anything. So after this, you're going to continue with row 2 until you're going to repeat row 2 and row 3 because it's the same exact row until you get your desired coverage, and then I'll meet you back when I have mine and I let you know how many rows that I did for the size medium. So I ended up doing a total of 15 rows for my bra cup, and this would be enough because we also have to cater for the edging part. So make sure you don't get total coverage for your bra cup. You have to give some room for the edging section. And I also have to point out that my tension is a bit loose. So if you have tight tension, I'm sorry if I didn't point out this. If you have very tight tension, that means your stitches are a bit too tight and too tense. You go a hook up, like this is 3.75, so you go like to a 4 or a 4.25, something like that. If you have loose tension, very loose tension, then you need to go down a bit on your hooks. You need to go like a hook lower so that you get the same exact fitting as mine. So these are 15 rows, and now we're going to start the edging part. You're going to chain up 4, which counts as a double crochet, chain 1, turn your work, skip the next stitch and into the next stitch, double crochet, chain 1, skip the next stitch and into the next stitch, double crochet, chain 1, and we are going to repeat this. We are going to keep repeating this until we get to the top of our bralette, the pointed part of our bralette. So we are creating the mesh pattern on the edges of the bralette. So continue to do this. So this is what I have on my edge right now on one side, and now you can see the very last double crochet that I've made is in the very first single crochet of the 3 in the middle. So don't worry about that. You're going to chain up 1 and go into the middle stitch, which is the next stitch, and place 1 double crochet, chain 1, go into the same stitch and do 1 double crochet like that, and then chain 1 and go into the one here after this one where you've placed 2 double crochets, and you're going to go in here. So we are just trying to balance what's on this side onto this side. So if we had a stitch in this one, that means we have to have a stitch in this one. Just find the most suitable way to make your top so that you don't tamper with the shape of the bralette. Then continue to chain 1, skip 1 and double crochet in the next all the way down. We are continuing with the mesh pattern all the way down. So that is your edging for your bra cup. So you can see what we have right now, and then you're going to chain up 1 and go into the very last stitch, skip this and go into the last stitch. So if you have a different number of stitches, it really doesn't matter. Just go ahead and try to distribute the double crochets in the most suitable way. If you get to the end and maybe you stopped here and then you have 1 stitch left, that's also okay. Just chain 1 and go into the very last stitch with a double crochet. So you're going to chain up 1 and turn your work, and this is the very final row of the bra cup. And then you're going to go into the very first box, this mesh. You're going to go into the first box with 1 single crochet, chain 4, and then you're going to slip stitch into these 2 loops at the front. See those 2 loops of the single crochet? You're going to make a slip stitch there, and then single crochet again in that very box, and then go into the next box, single crochet, chain up 4, slip stitch into the 2 loops at the front of the single crochet, and then single crochet again in the same box, 1 single crochet in the next box, chain 4, slip stitch, single crochet. So we're going to repeat that all the way up. So what this is creating are those spikes. At the edge of your bra cup. And we are going to just keep repeating this all the way up. So let me just explain what to do. When you get up here, you're going to just do the same exact thing and then go all the way around, and I'll meet you back at this point. No changes at all, just go into each and every box, creating that spike at the edge all the way around, and then I'll meet you back when you have your bra cup all surrounded by these spikes on the edges. So I've come to the end of my edging, the row of the spikes, and after placing my last one here, I'll place a single crochet just like we've been doing for all the rest, and then I'll chain up one and cut my yarn, but I had already cut it. I was running out of yarn. And this is how your bra cup looks like. I prefer this to be my outside part of my bra cup, where the spikes are popping out of the bra cup. So the wrong side of your very last row should be the right side of your work. So this is what you have. You're going to go ahead and make the same exact thing for your second bra cup. Make sure they're identical, because you wouldn't want to have a loose fitting on one and a tight fitting on the other. So go ahead and make the same exact bra cup, and then I'll meet you back when we are doing the edging, the band at the base of our bralette. So here is my second bra cup, and you can see they're almost the same exact. Though one has been overstretched, but we have almost the same exact size. That's what you should keep in mind. Make sure you try your best to have the same tension for both your bra cups. And now we're going to be working on the band, the lower band of our bralette. So the way I prefer to do this is, I already know how long I want my band to be. So I want to have a chain of 100 at the base. That's what I want to work with. So for the lower band of my bralette, I'm going to make a chain of 100, and this applies to the medium size that I'm doing. So I have my chain of 100, and I'm going to make 5 more chains. I'm going to block off this with my finger, this 100 chain, and I'm going to chain 5 more like that, and then go into the stitch that I blocked off with a double crochet. That's what you should have. So this chain 5 counts as a double crochet, chain 2. Keep that in mind. So after this, you're going to chain 1, skip the next 3 chains, and into the 4th make a double crochet into the next, and double crochet into the next chain. So this is what we have right now. And then you're going to chain up 1, skip the next 3 chains, and into the 4th, double crochet, chain 3, and double crochet again in that same exact space. So we are making groups of 3 double crochets and then a V-stitch, and we are going to keep alternating between these two. So let's see how to go ahead. After this, you're going to chain 1, skip the next 3 chains, and into the 4th, make a double crochet into the next, and double crochet into the next chain. So this is what we have. So it's this, and then this, then this, and then this comes back here. So right now it's time for the V-stitch. So chain 1, skip the next 3 chains and into the 4th, double crochet, chain 3, double crochet again in that same exact chain. So that's a V-stitch, and we're going to keep alternating between these two. So chain 1, skip the next 3 chains into the 4th, double crochet into the next chain, and then double crochet into the next chain. So we've brought back this here. So now it's time for this. So chain 1, skip the next 3 chains and into the 4th, place a V-stitch. So double crochet, chain 3, and double crochet in the same exact stitch. So we're going to go all the way across our work doing this, and then I'll meet you guys back towards the end of this first row. So we are almost coming to the end, and you can see we are alternating between the V-stitch and the 3 double crochets all the way across. And now I'm chaining 1, and then this is a V-stitch. That means the next is the 3 double crochets. So skip the next 3 chains and into the 4th, you're going to place a double crochet in the next, and double crochet in the next. So I have 3 chains left, but no worries. I'm going to chain up 1. And remember, I told you we started with the chain of 5 representing 1 double crochet, chain 2. So after your chain of 1, you're going to go into the very last stitch with a double crochet, then chain 2, and then double crochet. So that's how we end our row. This is what we have. Okay, so we're going to row 2 of the band, and for row 2 we are going to start off with a chain of 3, turn your work, place 3 more double crochets in this space, chain 2 space. So 1, 2, and 3. And after this counts as 4 double crochets because the chain 3 at the beginning counts as a stitch. Chain 1, 1 double crochet in the middle stitch of the 3 double crochets. So in the middle stitch, chain 1, 7 double crochets in the V stitch. So in this chain 3 space, you're going to go in there with a total of 7 double crochets. 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Then you're going to chain up 1. These are 3 double crochets, so we go to the middle stitch, which is this one, and place a double crochet, chain 1, 7 in the V stitch, and that's the repeat for this row. You're going to go all the way across, repeating this until the end of the row. These are 6, so 7, then chain 1, go into the middle stitch of the 3 double crochets, place a double crochet, chain 1, this is a V stitch, so we place a total of 7 double crochets in the V stitch. So let me go ahead and finish up my row. I'll meet you back at the end. So we're almost at the end of row 2 and I've placed my 7 double crochets in the V-stitch. So chain 1, place your 1 double crochet in the middle stitch of the 3 double crochets, chain 1, and at the end we have this small V-stitch and you're going to go into it with a total of 4 double crochets. This is because that's what we have at the exact beginning of our work. So we have 4 stitches here and we have 4 stitches here. So we're going to row 3, and for row 3 you're going to start off with a chain 3, which will count as a double crochet, turn your work and double crochet in the second stitch. So not this one but this one, double crochet. So we have 2 double crochets at this point. And then you're going to chain up 1 and place a V-stitch in this double crochet, the one on its own. So go in there with a double crochet, chain 3 and 1 more double crochet, and then chain 1, skip the first double crochet, skip the second, and into the third you're going to place a double crochet into the next, and double crochet into the next. So we have our 3 double crochets and we are going to eliminate the 2 at the end. We eliminate the 2 at the end and the 2 at the beginning. Then chain 1, make a V-stitch in this double crochet. So 1 double crochet, chain 3 and 1 more double crochet, chain 1. These are 7 double crochets. Eliminate the first 2 and go into the third with a double crochet and double crochet in the next 2 stitches. So we have a total of 3 double crochets, which we have at this point. So we are going to keep repeating that all the way to the end of our row. So chain 1, V-stitch in the double crochet that's on its own. So 1 double crochet, chain 3, 1 double crochet, chain 1, skip the next 2 double crochets and into the third you're going to place 1 double crochet, and into the next 2 stitches 1 double crochet, like that, and keep going until the end of your row, and then I'll meet you back on row 4. So we're coming to the end of row 3 and I've placed my V-stitch in this double crochet, and I'm going to chain up 1 and I'm going to skip the next 2 stitches, and in the last 2 stitches I'm going to go in there with 1 double crochet and then 1 double crochet in the very last stitch. So we have 2 stitches here, and that's exactly what we have at this point. You can see that chain 3, which counts as a double crochet, and then the double crochet here. So we have 2 double crochets here and 2 double crochets at the end. So we are going to row 4 and you're going to chain up 3, turn your work, and for row 4 we are going to chain up 3, which counts as a double crochet, then chain 1. So we start off with a chain of 4, which counts as a double crochet, chain 1, and then go into the V-stitch with 7 double crochets, so after your 7 double crochets here in the V-stitch, chain 1 and place a double crochet in the middle stitch of the 3 double crochets below. That's what we have. Then chain 1, 7 double crochets in the V-stitch, and you're going to repeat this all the way across your work. I'll meet you back at the end of the row and I show you how to wind up row 4. So this is what we have. Alright, so we're coming to the end of row 4, and I've placed my last group of 7 double crochets, and I've chained 1 here. And when you come to this last part, you're going to just skip over this and go into the very last stitch with a double crochet. So we have a double crochet here and a chain 1, which we have here at the beginning, which was a chain 4, which counted as a double crochet chain 1. So whatever you do on this side, you just try to mirror it to this side so that we keep the straight edges. So we're going to row 5, and for row 5 we start with a chain of 5. Turn your work and place 1 double crochet in that very space, in that very first stitch. So that has created a small V stitch, and you can trace it back at this point on row 1. So row 5 is going to resemble row 1. So after this, you're going to chain 1, skip these first 2 stitches and into the third, double crochet into the next, and double crochet into the next, for a total of 3 double crochets. And then chain 1, place a V stitch in this double crochet that's on its own. So 1 double crochet, chain 3, and 1 double crochet. So you can see this, and you can see the same exact thing happening down here on row 1. And we're going to just keep repeating this all the way across. And then I'm going to give further instructions on how to make your band longer. So row 5 is going to be the same exact as row 2. They're going to resemble, you can see that. And then this and this. And row 6 is going to be the same exact as row 2. Row 7 is going to be the same exact as row 3. Row 8 is the same exact as row 4. So it's a repeat of 4 rows. So the moment you get to row 5, you repeat row 1. You go back and keep repeating these rows again and again if you want your band to be way longer than what I have made. I'm going to continue working mine, and then I show you the length I came up with and how many rows that I did for mine. So I did a total of 10 rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. I did a total of 10 rows. And this marks the end of my band, my bottom band. I hope you were able to follow through so that you achieve this same exact look. I'll be placing some time stamps in the description box so that you can just tap and then go back to the row that you want to emulate for your next row. So make sure you check the description box so that you can follow along with me. And then now it's the time to attach our bra cups to our band. So you're going to reintroduce your bra cups to your band, and then okay, let me see, you're going to locate the exact middle of your band. So let me try and do that. So my exact middle is this V stitch. I have to keep that in mind. So that's where the bra cups are going to meet. And I'm going to go ahead and attach my bra cups to the band at the base. So now that we are done with all the major parts of the top, the next thing that I'm going to do is to put a row of single crochets. You can see my shells are facing down. That means my very first chain of my band is the one that's going to have the bra cups lying there. So you're going to grab your yarn and we are going to do a row of single crochets all the way across, so that we have definite points where to attach our bra cups. So I want a total of 100 single crochets, just like we had when we were making the very first chain. So I'm attaching my yarn in that stitch, then chaining up 1 and single crochet. Then this is a chain of 3, that means I single crochet 3 times in there, and then single crochet in each stitch where there's 1 single crochet. So basically we are just retrieving our 100 chains, but this time they're single crochets. So I'm just going to go all the way across. If you find that a chain has 1 stitch, place 1 single crochet in there. If you find a chain of 1, actually this row doesn't have chains of 1, it has chains of 3, so you go in there with 3 single crochets. So just make sure you have the same exact number of chains that you had in the beginning. So this is what we want. I'm going to go all the way across until I finish my row. So I'm done with my row of single crochets, and I'm going to just chain up 1 and cut my yarn and pull through. And now we're going back to the exact middle of our work. So 1, 2, 2. So the exact middle is here at this point where you placed this stitch. So place your 2 bra cups like this, and all I know is that I want 10 stitches at the edge of each side. So just make sure your work is on the wrong side. So I'm going to turn my work to the wrong side so that I do my attaching on the wrong side. So you're going to grab your tapestry needle. So what I'm going to do is to just determine, I have those big ridges, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and this is the 8th, the one that makes the 15th row, because the big one comprises of 2 rows. So I'm starting from the middle, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then we have this one, I'll count it as 8, then 9, and then 10. That means we have a total of 20, because what's on this side is the same as this side. And I have a total of 100 here. So if I have a total of 20 here, and we do two stitches in each, then we shall have a total of 40 and 40 here. I don't know if you get what I mean, but I'm going to show you what I mean by that. You're going to thread your tapestry needle. Just find the most suitable way to attach your bra cups, either by doing the math or your eyeballing or whatever works for you. Most of the times I just do the math and I try to balance my work as much as I can. So for me, I'm going to do 10 stitches on the edge. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And then on the 11th, I'm going to attach it to this very first. Let me push my work to the side. Okay, my very first row of the spikes. So I'm attaching it there. Sorry. So this is what we have. So I finished attaching, and I want two stitches on each and every row that I counted. So even the second one will go into that same exact space. Then the next one will go into this gap. Sorry. And then the next one, because I want 2 stitches at the bottom to go into 1 stitch at the top. So 2 for the gap there. And now we are here in this stitch that we counted as 1. Even if it's not a big ridge, we are going to attach 2 stitches from the bottom. Like that. And then 2 stitches from the bottom into the next ridge. Now these are the big ridges. So 1 and then 2. And then 2 from the bottom into the next ridge. 1 and 2. And continue to do that into the next ridge. 1 and 2. So I'm just trying to balance my work as much as I can. If you have a better way, please go for it. I'm not really dictating for you to do what I'm doing exactly. But if you can understand what I'm trying to explain, then it's the easiest approach. If you want perfection for your work. So we are over to this side. So 1 and 2 so I'm going to continue that until the end of my first brack up, and then I'll show you what I'll have got out of that. And since we counted this last row as one of the rows to get 2, so we are going to go into that row and attach 2, and then 2 for the space, and then 2 for this very last row. So that's 1 and then 2. So this is what we have, and now you can see we've reached the exact middle of our work, because this was the point that I had marked. That means I distributed it very well, and I'm going to just go ahead and bring my second brack up and go into the next stitch and do the same exact thing all the way across. Two stitches from the bottom into the stitches that we counted at the top. So this is what we have, and when you turn your work, this is what we have. So let me go ahead and keep attaching my brack up, and I'll meet you when I'm done. So I went all the way across, and this is how my work looks like on the right side. You can see it's very neat. It's almost even invisible that we placed an attachment anywhere. So this is how the work came out, and please allow me use my former top to demonstrate what next, because my battery is running low. The only thing left is to attach straps. So you see that spike in the middle of this V at the top of your bra cup. That's where we're going to be attaching the straps, and we're just going to do normal long chains. I just tried to keep it simple and just did a normal chain of about 200 chains. 200 to 300 if you would want to play around with them at the front of your bra cup, of your bralette, sorry. So this is the one that I did before, the one that I posted earlier on my page. So if you find the bralette a bit open, you need to close it up. You just get a string and lace it up and tighten that. That will close up that very big gap for your bralette if you find it too open. But if you don't, then it's okay. You don't need to do this part. So you just go ahead and do very long straps, and then turn your work to the wrong side. And now we are going to be lacing it up in the several rows of our band at the lower part of the bralette. So I'll go into the very first. You bring this side onto this side, and then we're just crisscrossing so that we get an X at the back. So that's what you have. And then you can skip some few rows and then go into this space here. That's the third row. And then skip a few, and then you can go into the, is it the 8th? Just balance equally, and then you can go into the very last row, which is the 10th row. So do you really like, just feel free to do what suits you and what you really want your top to look like. And after this, you're going to just tie this. So you're going to apply this same exact knowledge to the yellow top. I've been running out of battery and I couldn't do it on camera, but I hope I explained it well. And this marks the end of this tutorial. This is how your bralette looks like. Very cute and very simple. I hope you really enjoyed making this project. If you did, make sure you give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more amazing videos. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.